Hello everyone and welcome to the Monster Jam Studios. I'm Scott Jordan and this is the Monster Jam Update. The Road to World Finals 21 kicks off this weekend with a number of events across 5 different tours, and you can join me here every Thursday throughout the season for breaking news, highlights, point standings, and of course interviews with Monster Jam's top drivers from across the league. Now, the 2022 season will showcase 48 superstars competing at events all over the country, vying for one of 5 series championships to secure an automatic bid to Monster Jam World Finals 21 in Orlando. Now, the field of competitors is filled with former champions, familiar faces, rising stars, and new athletes looking to make their mark among the sport's best. Now, speaking of a fresh new face in 2022, the announcement of a new Team Gravedigger driver has everyone on social media buzzing, and it's on Arena Championship Series East. And I'm talking about the youngest son of Hall of Famer Dennis Anderson. Weston Anderson will make his debut in the black and green wrecking machine when the East Series rolls into North Charleston, South Carolina, January 8th and 9th with 2 events. Now, anticipation certainly high for the 4th Anderson sibling to don the green Gravedigger fire suit. Now, Weston's going to have a tough road to World Finals as he will be tested every single event by veterans such as Cody Saucier, who debuts his brand new ride in Dragon. Berardo Mahan brings Whiplash to an Arena Series for the first time. Armando Castro returning to pilot El Toro Loco, and representing Steve Sims' Monster Trucks Unlimited team out of Virginia Beach will be Chad Tingler in Stonecrusher and Shade Freed in Hook. And in North Charleston, you're going to see John Gordon in Bad Company with a rare arena event, and Brandon Darrow in Bad News Travels Fast. Now, the 2 final trucks will rotate throughout the season, so if you head out to see this tour, you could also see Jester, Kraken, Jurassic Attack, Rockwell Red, Terminal Velocity, Vendetta, or Wild Side. Now, if you want to get tickets to see Weston Anderson in North Charleston, South Carolina for Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and also find out what lineup is on this series in your city, make sure you go to monsterjam.com. Arena Championship Series Central kicks off on January 7th at the Royal Farms Arena in Baltimore, Maryland, with 4 incredible events. Get your tickets right now to see Kristen Anderson in Gravedigger, the returning Blake Ranger in Max D, representing the Hall Brothers Racing Team, Mark Hall in Raminator, Kurt Kramer in Ramunition, and Tony Oaks returning in Soldier Fortune Black Ops. Also, 2 young rising stars on this tour with Overboard Motorsports. I'm talking about John Zimmer Jr. in Terminal Velocity and Zach Garner in Wild Side. Now, a guy to really watch on this series, Elvis Linus. He moves over from Great Clips Mohawk Warrior back to El Toro Loco. He had one of the best racing records in all of Monster Jam last year at 54 and 27, ranked number 8 in all of drivers at the end of 2021. So the bullseye firmly on the back of Elvis Linus when this series rolls into Baltimore. Arena Championship Series West will kick things off at the Vivint Arena in Salt Lake City, home of the Utah Jazz, Friday night, January 7th, with the first of 4 events running through Sunday. Now, if you join us in Salt Lake, you will see 2 of the top 10 drivers to close out the 2021 Monster Jam Power Rankings in Gravediggers Brandon Vincent and Tristan England, now back behind the wheel of his baby Earthshaker after an unbelievable year in Megalodon. You're also going to see Bernard Light. He's switching rides, moving from Alien Invasion into Megalodon. Miranda Kozad returns to Monster Jam behind the wheel of Scooby-Doo. Travis Mowry, Kalen Miguez, now newly married. They will compete against each other with Kalen and Jailbird. And Travis just announced he's now joining Team Throttle Monster behind the wheel of Rockwell Red, along with the return of the Triceratops to arena action as David Olfer brings back Jurassic Attack. Now, a late addition to this series is former Team Scream driver Brad Allen. He now joins up with Darren Miguez's team, and he will drive Nitro Menace. All that and more, so get your tickets at monsterjam.com. Now, moving on into stadium action. Up first, Stadium Championship Series Red will start with 2 events at the Alamo Dome beginning Saturday, January 15th. However, you can see some of these superstars this weekend at the Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee competing in 3 events. Some familiar faces with different looks in 2022 highlight this tour as Todd LeDuc returns to Blue Thunder for the first time since 2011, and Cynthia Gauthier will drive Monster Mutt Dalmatian in Milwaukee until she debuts the Lucas Oil Stabilizer later this season after the truck is finished with testing. They're going to be joined by a couple of multi-time world champions in Gravediggers Adam Anderson and Max D's Tom Meents. Also competing on this series, Bryce Kenny and Great Clips Mohawk Warrior, Mark List in El Toro Loco, the Tom Foolery Motorsport boys Matt and Nick Pagliarulo in Jester and Kraken, and the team out of Indiana, Jamie Garter and Covenard in Overboard and the Black Pearl. Finally, John Gordon in Bad Company joins the series, along with the return of Flying Ryan Disharoon in Saigon Shaker. Now, if you get your tickets to Milwaukee, you're going to see Adam Anderson, Tom Meents, Mark List, Cynthia Gauthier, Nick and Matt Pagliarulo, Jamie Garner, and Cole Vennard. All other athletes will debut at the Alamo Dome. Our last tour is Stadium Championship Series Yellow, which heads to Ring Central Coliseum in Oakland, California, the home of the A's, for 2 events beginning also Saturday, January 8th. All eyes on this series might be on Ryan Anderson back behind the wheel of Son of a Digger as he begins defense of his Stadium Series championship. But his road is not going to be easy, as some fans online have termed the series as the toughest road to World Finals from top to bottom. It's an all-star lineup competing on this tour. Also competing on this tour, Bari Musawwir in Zombie, Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger. A lot of hype around him as he competes on his first Stadium Series. Former World Finals champion Charlie Pauken back in the truck he won that championship in, as he will pilot Monster Mutt. Camden Murphy returns in Bakugan Dragonoid. Caleb Blood gets a Stadium Series shot in Soldier Fortune, and they will be joined by 4 Team Scream Racing trucks with Corey Rummel in Megalodon, Craig Champion in El Toro Loco, Preston Perez joining the team in Axe, and of course 2-time World Finals champion Jim Kohler still getting it done in Avenger. Our final 2 competitors with Team Throttle Monster will be Mike Christensen in Vendetta and Paul Jensen in Jurassic Attack. Once again, tickets, lineups, and all of the information for these upcoming events can be found right now at monsterjam.com. Each week I will be joined by one of the 48 superstars competing for a spot in the field at World Finals 21. And my first guest this week always seems to stir up a little controversy. I'm talking about 2-time World Finals champion Todd LeDuc. Todd, welcome to the Monster Jam Update. How's it going in Peoria, Arizona?
I'm all healed up. I'm ready to rip, and we're only a few days away here, about a week away until our tour kicks off, and I'm beyond excited.
All right, it was announced on social media and digital media as well that you would no longer be driving Monster Energy this year. You were back behind the wheel of Blue Thunder for the first time in 10 years. So take me back to that phone call you got when you were told Monster Energy is out and Blue Thunder is in. How are you feeling then, and how are you feeling now?
You know, getting that phone call from Monster Jam and Monster Energy was kind of a shock. It was blindsided. You know, we won 3 tour championships, got second twice. You know, we tried to do the Ford Momentum double backflip, and, you know, I tried to represent any brand or any truck that I drive to the best abilities I can, and it was just time to part ways, and it was a shock to me for sure. I thought Monster Energy was a great fit for me, but no matter what truck I'm in, Thunder, Metal Militia, Monster Energy, we're going to bring it, and I'm going to go big, and I'm going to bring it Todd LeDuc style.
You have a tough road on Stadium Championship Series Red. Adam Anderson, Tom Meents, Cynthia Gauthier, Bryce Kenny, just to mention a few. Here in the show, we're going to talk a little bit later on about the power rankings. I don't know if you know this, but the preseason power rankings are out. You rank number 7. In your opinion, is that too low, too high, or just right?
Sometimes that whole ranking deal is so confusing to me. It's kind of frustrating because, you know, we end up finishing 2nd overall in the Tour Championship, and I'm running at 8th. You know, but I don't know how it really works necessarily. I just want to put on good shows, hard performances, just be super consistent. You know, my racing was terrible at the beginning of last year, terrible. And Jeff and I, we honed it, cleaned it up, and at the end there, we're starting to get really, really consistent and smooth. And that's why I think this championship is going to come down the line. You cannot win the overall each weekend or each night without starting off with a good racing. So we're going to stay focused on that racing skills, try to pick it up, be consistent. Tom Meents and those guys are so consistent with those moonwalks on the front, you know, and I'm going to kind of give the fans a variety, and then in freestyle, just that normal Todd LeDuc, wide open crash, and maybe go back a couple years, maybe back to those Metal Militia days.
If you want to ride the Lightning in 2022 with Todd LeDuc, he will make his season debut Saturday, January 15th at the Alamodome in San Antonio. Todd, thank you so much for being my first guest here on Monster Jam Update. We will see you out on the road on Stadium Championship Series Red. The preseason edition of the Monster Jam Power Rankings have been released on social media and at monsterjam.com, and every week we will take a look at the top 10. Now, throughout the season, the top 20 drivers will be highlighted, but right here, we'll focus on 1 through 10. Let's kick it off at number 1, Ryan Anderson in Son of a Digger. No surprise there, although maybe a little bit of a surprise if you take a look at the final season rankings for 2021. Tyler Menninga was in that top spot. Ryan Anderson was in 2nd. For this particular edition, they have flip-flopped. Tyler Menninga, Gravedigger, now in 2nd. Adam Anderson in 3rd. So the top 3 drivers in these power rankings all in that Gravedigger family. Tom Meents at 4th in Max D. Take a look at the NFL going on right now, the postseason among us. Tom Brady getting things done in the NFL that most 40-year-old quarterbacks wouldn't be able to make happen. Tom Meents has that mentality in Monster Jam, getting it done, still in the prime of his career, still beating some of the drivers that he has taught to drive these Monster Jam trucks. So Tom Meents fixing to have another great year. In fifth, Brandon Vincent in Gravedigger, who came back in 2021 midway through the season, had one of the best racing records in all of Monster Jam, actually the best racing record in all of Monster Jam. He is in that fifth spot. Tristan England in Earthshaker in sixth. Now these two will be competing against each other all season long, so I do expect to see some flip-flopping going on there between that 5 and 6 position. In seventh, Todd LeDuc, Blue Thunder, a lot to prove for Todd LeDuc here. It's tough to say that from a two-time World Finals champion, but Todd has a lot on the line right now as he looks to drive Blue Thunder back to the top of the Monster Jam power rankings. Camden Murphy coming in at 8th, and Bakugan Dragonoid. What must it have been like for Camden Murphy to watch Ryan Anderson win a Stadium Championship Series in his truck? So another guy with a chip on his shoulder. Camden Murphy debuting at number 8 in 2022. Cynthia Gauthier in 9th. She will debut a brand new truck, the Lucas Oil Stabilizer, later on this season. And rounding out the top 10, Armando Castro in El Toro Loco. Now, I said we were only going to focus on the top 10, but I want to just drop down to number 11. Elvis Lainez in El Toro Loco. He did a lot to put himself on the map in 2021, and he now drops out of the top 10. So the power rankings will be released every single week on our social media platforms as well as monsterjam.com, and we will have instant analysis right here on the Monster Jam Update. That's all the time we have here for Monster Jam Update. For the latest info, give us a follow on social media at Monster Jam, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and be sure to use the hashtag Monster Jam on your posts. From the Monster Jam Studios, I'm Scott Jordan, and I'll see you next time on Monster Jam Update.